really loud guy that keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.
Dun, 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 dun.
A lot of the guys who are long in JAQ and still in JAQ came with me, but they are more or less. No one is longer in JAQ than Petron, and after Petron, it's me, I guess.
From the ones who are still in.
From the ones who are still here, yes. I mean, Kampfhamster, for example, would be an older member, but he's not playing anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, is it okay if it's if he does the story and I'd rest for you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be quite nice to have the story for JAQ because I actually don't have that, so I can always use that for a future video.
No. I can tell you the story with a lot of flowers and a lot of, I don't know, funny things if you want to. But yeah. So I don't know. How do you want me to start? Just start talking, or will you ask? Can you tell me the history of JAQ? I don't know.
Well, I hate the sound of my own voice in the video, so I think you can just start talking.
Okay. So JAQ was like me, born in K13. And for us, for me and the group that came with me to JAQ, we were like 3 weeks in another alliance, which I don't remember the name anymore. I remember some of the members who went with me, Ice, Akari, Wolfgrim. I think Ned came also with us. So we have a lot of guys that are a core group since, I think, 1.5 years. So our alliance was pretty dead. So we looked for another German alliance, and happily we had JAQ on K13 also. We tried to talk with them, and we had a guy with 150 million, which was pretty big on kingdom that's like one month. So because of this, our alliance leaders wanted to stay leaders, and because of both alliances were kind of similar in size, Petron wanted to stay the alliance leader. And they talked for, I don't know, 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, we decided, okay, fuck this, we will just jump over and join them and look who will follow us. So then we were on K13 and tried to live there. But on K13, it was kind of strange because the leading and ruling alliance was WMD. A lot stronger than most alliance. So they had like 10 billion when JAQ was 400 million. And the second biggest alliance was the WMD wing with, I think, 2 billion. And third biggest was something like 200 million bigger than JAQ. Which led to we got attacked every day. We got farmed every day. We had a lot of problems with using a bubble. And this led finally to JAQ leaving K13. I left JAQ and joined WMD, honestly, because I liked a lot of the guys. And the rest from JAQ switched to K21. After WMD started, let's say, melting down, I switched back to K21 with some more guys from WMD back to JAQ on K21. On K21, we also had problems with the bigger alliance because there were like, we made the rules. So the rules don't apply to us. We will always find a reason why you broke a rule. And if the two alliances that made the rules were Rus and FHL. And both of them were pretty great in arguing why their members can do what they want and we can't do a shit. By the time I joined, I think Arton was still in Rus. And I think 3 weeks after I rejoined JAQ, Arton came over to JAQ because he didn't like the way of Rus. And then let me think a bit. I think like 2 months later, Petron gave away the Alliance leadership to Arton, which I think is a pretty good choice. Sometimes Arton is not really decisive, but he's smart. After a time, the problems with K21 got bigger and bigger and bigger because we had no vote, we had no saying, we couldn't do shit on K21. So we decided to leave K21. We started to looking for kingdoms, and since we had ATF, which was Henry's alliance back then, as a KVK enemy, and Henry was a great KVK enemy, way too strong for anyone on K21, but he was quite awesome, quite nice. I talked the whole day. I discussed for car with him. I think Artan did too. So we decided to put K6 on the list together with, when I remember correct, K25 was on this list, which is the Nord Nos Kingdom, but JAQ voted against it. We had K40 on this list with Matt. Hey, by the way. But by vote, K6 won by far. So we had like 10 guys jumping immediately after the vote was done. And most of us joined like 2 weeks later. First, this was quite a new experience because we got greeted by everyone. We got asked by Soul Tyrant, who was the king by the time, if we like the rules. And every time we had a problem, we just met up and talked about it, which was quite different to K13, where it was pay 30 million gold, no, 300 million gold a week, or you get farmed, or K21, where you basically had no vote. Let me on just a moment. I lost track of what I wanted to say.
When was the move? When did you move to K6?
We moved to K6 at the beginning of this year, I think. I can check it, I guess. No, I can't. Well, maybe I can check it because we moved the alliance for Army of the Dead. So we moved shortly after Army of the Dead testing season, beginning of the year. And when we arrived on K6, K6 was pretty empty. There was ATF, SCW, which is original K6 alliance, S&D, which is now the J-Wing. There was DNB, they are gone now. There was TWS, they are gone now, but all pretty small. So we were like the first bigger alliance rejoining K6. And when ATF and Henry and his girls, I think it was mostly girls that left ATF with Henry, broke up, JAQ was the biggest alliance by the time on K21, K6. Lol. So I tried to convince Bella from TQL to join K6, which didn't work. But 3 months later, they had I think, Alliance Conquest match versus Jay. And after it, they decided to move, finally. Bull came in. But we are all pretty much the same size. And yes, I think I don't know if there's more to say about JAQ outside of since we joined K6, we did grow, and most of our members really love our king. We have some like, I don't know if you're listening, Nephilim, but I don't think I'm telling a secret when I tell everyone Nephilim doesn't like Henry. But most of our guys do, and most of our guys are like, we don't want to leave K6, not because of its K6, it's because of Henry. And yeah, I think this is pretty much the history of JAQ. And maybe the rest can be better answered by Arton, because Arton is one of our leaders and not like me, just a really loud guy that keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.
So, what would you say makes JAQ unique compared to other alliances?
Arton?
Okay. I think you wanted to answer this. I think the most thing that we have is we are most likely Germans all the way. For now, we have also like I think 10 people who are not speaking German that much, but we communicate with them quite well. And for a long time, I think JAQ was about the second strongest German alliance after GTS on K3. I don't think this is still the case. But yeah, that's basically what I think is unique on JAQ. And also unique maybe is that maybe like you heard it, we have a core group that's playing the game basically since 1.5 years. And we also have members from other lines joining us and still staying with us. We are communicating in voice chat on Discord. We are also playing external games together. For example, Scribble.io, or lately we are also playing D&D together. So it's not like we are just playing the game itself. We are also playing around it. And maybe, you can say we are like a little family altogether. So yeah, that's I think the unique part about JAQ.
Just a really loud guy that keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.